We're going to make a small Thanksgiving dinner for 2 to 4 people. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Vicki and you're with Gravy in the Kitchen. So today we're going to make a small Thanksgiving dinner that you can feed between 2 and 4 people with leftovers. With family moving away into different parts because of jobs and schools or whatever various reasons, it's hard to get everybody together at the same time in one location. As for my family, I have 2 kids and 1 grandson that lives in North Carolina. I do have a daughter, a son-in-law, and 2 grandsons here in my area. But with other family commitment, it's hard to get North Carolina family and Virginia family together to enjoy a meal. But the husband and I still enjoy a really good Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm going to show you how to turn all the good things of Thanksgiving into a simple meal. First, I went ahead and made a loaf of sourdough bread, and I doubled that recipe, and I cooked the bread. After it cooled off, I cubed it, put it on a large baking sheet in the oven, 200 degrees, and dried out my bread cubes. So now we have homemade sourdough bread cubes for our dressing. I ended up with 2 bags. We're not going to need a whole bag, but at least this gets me through all the holidays and whenever we want to make stuffing. I picked up 3 large sweet potatoes, and I just took a knife and I pierced them around the potatoes, a total of like 8 little piercings all around the potatoes. I baked it at 375 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes. They're soft, but they're not completely mushy because they're going to get finished cooking in our sweet potato casserole. So I'm just going to set this aside. Now in this saucepan, I need to cook my vegetables for the stuffing. I have about a tablespoon of butter. We have a half a cup of diced onions, celery, and carrots. And I like having these already diced and in the freezer for easy access. I have a pint of chicken broth and about 2 cloves of minced garlic. And this is going to go on top of the stove with the lid. Medium to medium low heat, because I want those vegetables to cook really soft. But let's talk about our chicken and our spice blend for it. We're not doing a turkey. Like I said, this is a 2 to 4 person Thanksgiving meal. So we're using a chicken. This is a chicken we got a couple months ago on sale. I decided to spatchcock it, which I cut the backbone and it's laid flat. It's going to cook a lot faster. We're going to put that in an enamel coated Dutch oven. But let's get our spice blend together. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of oregano, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and 2 teaspoons of salt. And this is some rubbed sage. We grew this and let it dry, put it in the food processor, and pulverized it. I want a good tablespoon of sage. Get that mixed in really well. Perfect. Let me get the chicken out of the refrigerator. So this is a spatchcock chicken. All we did was remove the backbone and it's laid flat. Just want to dry it out just a bit. All right, that is good. I do want to put some seasoning on the back side where it's open. Now, spatchcocking a chicken is super simple. In the description below, you're going to see a video on how to spatchcock a chicken when you could catch them on sale. Do the processing yourself. It's so much cheaper and so much better for you. I want to make sure that's patted in really well. Let's turn it back over. Now, I do want to get under the skin where the breast, just using my fingers to make up some pockets, and also going on the side and get to that leg through the thigh. Just take your time, don't rip the skin. All right, so we're going to take our spice blend and push it all the way down in there. Always make your spice blend before you touch your raw meat. That way you're not contaminating your little containers. There we go. And the remainder we're just going to put right here on the skin. Perfect. Make sure we get those wings seasoned. Now I want to take the tips of the wings and I want to push them underneath the breast just so they don't dry out too much. There we go. Now I'm going to put this inside down inside our Dutch oven, and this is a cold Dutch oven. Let me clean up a bit, wipe my counter down, wash my hands. I'm going to put the lid on top of the Dutch oven. It's going to go into a 375-degree oven. I'm going to time it for about 45 minutes. Then after that time, we're going to flip our chicken to where the skin is up, and we're going to add a few potatoes. Now, before we get started on the other sides, we're going to have sweet potato casserole, stuffing, plus the white potatoes, or in this case, yellow potatoes, that we're going to add to the chicken. I'm going to go ahead and get started on some dishes so those potatoes can cool and we can go ahead and make our casserole. So I'm pulling out all the ingredients we need to make the sweet potato casserole and realize I have that much brown sugar. We're going to make some brown sugar really quick. Brown sugar is one of those things I do not buy from the grocery store. I actually buy organic cane sugar from Azure Standard, and I buy molasses also from Azure Standard. Those are the two ingredients you need to make brown sugar. So we're going to go ahead and make a quick batch of brown sugar for our sweet potato casserole. So I have 3 cups of sugar, and you can make it as light or as dark a brown sugar you want. I just end up with whatever I end up with. I don't worry about the light or the dark. So I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of molasses. Let's see what that gets us. We have a whisk. And you can do this in a stand mixer if you are doing a big batch. And we want to make sure all of that molasses is broken up into the sugar. I'm just going in there with my hands to make sure the molasses has broken down. There's no molasses balls in here. How simple was that, family? Now we have brown sugar. And if I had to guess, I would think this is like a dark brown sugar. So if you want light brown sugar, go easy on the molasses. So these were 3 very large sweet potatoes. They're still a little warm, but I think we can handle it to peel them. Now you can actually cook your sweet potatoes a day early, yep, actually 2 days early. And after they cool off, come room temperature, just put them in the refrigerator until you're ready to peel and make your casserole. You can actually make it even like 3 days earlier. Go ahead and make your casserole, put that in the refrigerator. That way the day that you need to have your Thanksgiving dinner, it's sitting in the refrigerator waiting for you. That's the thing about large meals. You don't have to cook everything on the same day. A lot of the sides can actually be cooked 2 to 3 days early and finish cooking the day of your meal. It's all about the timing. And now I want to cut them up into small, manageable pieces. Just enough to fit on a fork. Then I'm just going to dollop some butter on top of the potatoes. Probably a stick of butter or 4 ounces of butter for 3 large potatoes. Now this recipe will double, triple, quadruple perfect. I'm going to add maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I have some cinnamon. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Some of our easy homemade brown sugar. We're going to add probably between 3/4 of a cup to a cup of brown sugar. If you like it a little bit sweeter, add a little bit more. If you don't want it as sweet, add less. And I'm going to add about a half a cup of maple syrup. So we have one side done and ready to go into the oven. Now if you were making this a couple days earlier, you would leave it right here, put it in the refrigerator, and the day that you're planning on having your holiday dinner, take it out of the refrigerator about 2 hours before you're ready to bake it. 375 degrees for about 30 to an hour, depending on how al dente you made your potatoes. My potatoes are actually cooked about 75% done, so it doesn't have much longer to go. So I'm gonna set this aside. We still have 21 more minutes on that chicken in the oven before we need to flip it and add our potatoes. I think we can go ahead and get our stuffing made also. We're done with the maple syrup. We're done with the brown sugar. So I have a large mixing bowl. I am going to add, let me weigh this bag. Now you can buy bread cubes already dried out at the store. It will be fine. But when you get in your kitchen and you learn the things and you learn how to make a good, whether it's a yeast bread or a sourdough bread, turn that into cubes, dry them out. It will save you so much money. And this is shelf stable because all the moisture has been removed from this bread cubes. So it's actually shelf stable. Let me see how much this bag weighs. I do have a big bag and a medium-sized bag. That's 1.5 pounds. Let's see if that's going to be enough. And we're going to use the same flavors that we used on our chicken and our stuffing. That way the seasonings will carry over throughout the whole dish. So these are unseasoned bread cubes. I'm going to add a good amount of salt, some pepper, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and about 1/4 cup of dry sage. We have the chicken broth, cooked vegetables, now as the bread cube sits in this sauce, it will absorb all of that liquid, but they won't become soggy because we dried the bread cubes first. And I'm going to add an extra 1 cup of chicken broth. That should be good. We're going to save that one for gravy. Now, since we don't have anything raw in here, anything that could be cross-contaminated or dangerous to taste, we can actually taste one of the bread cubes. Now they're going to be crunchy, just to see if it needs any more salt or pepper. Family doesn't need anything. And again, this recipe can be doubled, tripled, quadrupled, depending on what size your family gathering is. I'm going to add a little bit of avocado oil to the bottom of my casserole dish. Take a paper towel, give it a good swish. Make sure we get the sides and the corners really well. And now we have 2 side dishes all ready for us. Let me wash these potatoes really quick. I'm not even going to bother peeling them because they're a yellow potato, so they have a very thin skin on them. And they will cook just fine in that Dutch oven, in the oven with that chicken. And I'm just going to cut the potatoes into manageable bite-sized pieces that will fit on a fork. Well, family, when I open this oven, the smells from this chicken is to die for. Oh, it's beautiful. Now, before I flip this chicken, I do want to take the temperature of a thigh just to see where we are at to doneness. Thighs need to be 175. We're at 165. Let's go check a breast. We're at 144 and it needs to be 165. Let's see how well we can get this bird flipped. Now some of the skin is sticking to the pan, but that is okay. It's rendered off some beautiful juices. Let's see if we can do it. Can we do it, family? Oh, we did it. We still want to make sure our legs are in the same formation. Meat's already coming off of the bones. That's wonderful. All right, let's go ahead and put in our potatoes. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to the potatoes and a little bit of a pepper. That is all we're doing. Lid back on. Now this is going to go back in the oven for about another 30 to 45 minutes. And now we can go ahead and add in our casserole. So I'm going to put the stuffing on the top right beside the chicken. I'm going to put the sweet potatoes underneath. I have the timer set for 30 minutes. We're going to check on those potatoes, check on those sides, see if we need to extend the time. And when it gets closer to dinner being ready, we'll go ahead and make that gravy. If I thought about it, I could have made some yeast dinner rolls, but I didn't. And that is fine. We don't need them. I'm going to be making the creamy gravy in the same pot we use to cook our vegetables for the stuffing. Doesn't even need to be washed. All right, family, I'll see you in about 30 minutes. So it has been 30 minutes. I do want to give our stuffing a little toss. I don't want anything to stick to the bottom. And I want to get nice and crispy all over. Oh, that smells so good. Oh, family. Whew. Wish you were here having Thanksgiving with me. The birds are going crazy outside. All right, now this time I'm going to put it back in the oven without the aluminum foil so it can crisp up on the top. All right, so this is our sweet potato casserole, or our yams. Ooh, family, the aroma. I don't know who the birds are yelling at. Now I'm going to put this back in the oven, also without the aluminum foil. We're going to let this cook for about another 10 minutes, and then we're going to add the marshmallows. All right, let's check on this chicken and potatoes. The potatoes are tender. Oops, let's turn it on. Do you want to check the temperature? All right, chicken breast is reading 180. The thighs are reading 199. This is done. I'm going to go ahead and get the potatoes out so we can take our chicken out. This chicken is probably going to fall apart, but that will be fine. Yep, the legs are going to come off. Well, maybe not. I'm going to cover the chicken so it'll stay nice and hot. And we're going to use this broth with our gravy. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in this saucepan. A little bit of salt and pepper. 2 tablespoons of flour. And I just want to cook the flour in the butter just to cook off that raw flour taste. This is a roux. A fat and a flour is a roux. And we only need to cook it for about a minute or 2. So 1 cup of chicken broth, plus this is 1 cup of seasoned chicken broth from cooking that chicken. It rendered off its fat and its flavor. And I'm just straining it to get all the big bits out. And we're just going to cook that until the liquid warms up. It'll thicken up that roux. And if it's too thick, we can thin it with a little bit of milk and make a delicious creamy gravy. So this is a 10.5 ounce bag of mini marshmallows. Not clean ingredients, but I didn't make any homemade marshmallows, so we're using store-bought. I'm going to make sure they're evenly distributed all through this pan. All right, that looks good. Back in the oven till the marshmallows melt. And start turning a little brown, probably about another 10 minutes. The gravy is starting to thicken just a bit. We do want to taste it for seasoning. Salt is perfect. Do want to add just a pinch of pepper. And I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of milk. Perfect. I'm going to turn the burner off. Gravy is done. All right, let's go ahead and tend to the chicken. So I want to remove the thigh from the main body part and go ahead and separate the thighs from the drumsticks. Oh, got a potato hidden over here under a wing. Go ahead and take our wings off, even though most of the meat came off of the bones, but that is okay. Cut our breast in half. And then I'm going to cut it in half so they're evenly portioned. And there's our beautiful chicken. Now, if you make your own homemade chicken broth, I have videos on using the scraps of chicken. When we cut up our chicken fryer parts, we save the wing tips, we save the backbones. When we make our own boneless, skinless chicken thighs and chicken breasts, we save those bones. Then when we get enough chicken bones, we'll roast those in the oven, put them in the countertop roaster with some water, aromatics. We can make homemade chicken broth. This gravy literally cost pennies. We use scraps to make our broth. We use 2 tablespoons of flour, which is the only thing we really buy, minus the salt and pepper. And the milk is optional, but we get raw cow milk every week. So this literally cost pennies. Very inexpensive. So we got our chicken, our potatoes, our gravy. We have our stuffing made from homemade sourdough bread that we made bread cubes, put them in the oven to let them dry, 200 degrees, about 2 to 4 hours, depending on the amount of bread cubes you have. So that also costs pennies. We have our sweet potato casserole. Now we made that butter homemade. We've done that together. We made our brown sugar with just sugar and molasses, simple ingredients. Marshmallows we did buy. We do know how to make marshmallows, just didn't make them for this recipe. Potatoes I had to buy, both the white potatoes and the sweet potatoes. We get all of our herbs and spices, maple syrup, sugar, molasses, all the things, and plus flour from Azure Standard. We buy it in bulk. We have it in our pantry. We have the things we need to make this dinner. Chicken we bought on sale at Lidl's when they had their chickens for 97 cents a pound, limit 2 chickens. We went back multiple times on our way to or from home from work, and we picked up 2 at a time. I think we ended up getting 8 at that time. So the chicken was less than $5. Family, super simple. The husband said he is ready to eat. Let me go ahead and make us a plate. So we have a piece of chicken. Stuffing. Potatoes. And sweet potato casserole. So we have a very small Thanksgiving dinner that will feed 2 to 4 people with leftovers. Now, if you're planning on having more than 2 or 4 people, double, triple, quadruple this recipe. Use a turkey instead of a chicken. Whatever you like to do, family. But just because we can't get everybody together one day over the holidays doesn't mean we cannot enjoy a delicious holiday meal. This is our small Thanksgiving for just the husband and myself. I hope you get inspired that just because it's just you and another person, or maybe a small family, you can still have a delicious, healthy, nutrient dense holiday meal. This doesn't have to be for Thanksgiving. If you have the things in your house, you can have this any time of the year you like. If you can get everybody together in February or April, June, this is a great dinner to have for those special occasions. So until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family. What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Is it the turkey or the chicken? Maybe ham? Or is it the sides? Mine is the sides. I love the sides. We can have Thanksgiving anytime we like.